All right, everybody. First off, is the audio good? Can y'all hear me? Say something, Kelly.
Hello.
Can y'all hear her too? All right, awesome. We got confirmation the audio does work. Anyway, we got a stormy night here in West Tennessee. Got Ryan Hall on the TV. Storms hadn't quite, or the bad storms hadn't quite got to us. So hopefully we don't lose power and everything will work pretty smoothly here. But anyway, it seems like ages ago that we put out the first harvest video this year, corn harvest, and frankly, everybody, I'm tired of editing harvest videos, so I'm glad we're done with them. Glad we're going to get started on something else. So anyway, just to go ahead and address the elephant in the room, I know a lot of people have been asking, what's the status on Kelly's hand?
Huh?
What's the status on your hand?
I just drew a blank. Oh yeah, you're supposed to wear this thing, huh? Status is that can't really use them too much. They're still swollen. I have to go to therapy twice a week for the next 2 months until the doctor signs me off. He's worried about my middle finger because it is crooked and my middle joint is not aligning right. So hopefully with 2 months of therapy and checking in with him every 4 weeks, he won't have to do any surgery or stuff to fix it. I did tear the what did I do? Slice the tendons in that middle finger? Yeah, basically sliced the tendon in the middle finger, so it didn't heal correctly, and therefore my middle finger is kind of permanently bent. Can't really straighten it, and it's very painful. So become a left-handed person now. But that's it. We still got to pay a lot of money because now it's the new year and we have a new deductible. So it's just more money to spend, isn't it? It's great.
Well, there at one point, two, 3 weeks ago, they thought that they were going to have to do surgery on you, and you'd be in a cast until like mid-February. So
No, it would have been 2 months. No, the tip of the middle finger was not. I don't know what it was. It's crooked. It's still crooked, but they thought they were gonna have to go back in there and put pins in it, and then fix the tendon, and then I would be in a cast for. Oh God, it was said he was gonna do surgery probably this week. So I'd have been in it until March 1st, and then had to go through 3 months of therapy after that. So
but fortunately, the surgeon looked at it and decided surgery was not the best option, just to let him keep on healing. So the timeline definitely sped up a little, but it's still got a long ways to go, and probably won't ever be 100%. You know, when you have an injury like that, I imagine Kelly will be able to pretty much warn me when rain is on the way for the rest of her life.
no, pretty much warn everybody when it's cold outside. When it was what, like -20 below, I had a glove on, but it was a work gloves. They can't fit regular gloves, and all of a sudden it was just like intense pain. I wanted to cut them off. So when it's cold, it'll let you know. And yeah, when it rains.
I'm pretty sure when it was -20, you would have been hurting regardless of what you'd done to your fingers.
I think everybody would have been hurting anyway. But no, I just still can't use them. I've gotten this much. Look, I can kind of hold a cup almost. But it might be a party trick or a party favor. I can just flip people off with a bent finger. I don't know.
You did get you have gotten where you are able to use your hand more than what you were. I mean, the cuts themselves are pretty much healed up.
Yeah, no, the cuts are healed. Like, you still can't feel my fingers. Like, I can't feel them. It's weird. Like, you don't, it's like they're there, but they're not there. I don't know. But they're still attached. At this point, I think maybe it would have been better if we just disattached them. I probably would have been healed by now. So I drink a cup like this. We're good. We're good.
So anyway, that's the injury update. I really wasn't planning on recording anything in December because we had harvest videos that's bringing us until the first of the year, and I was tired of holding the camera. But we did have some things happen in December that warranted us recording, which y'all will see. I don't want to spoil some of the surprises. I know some of y'all probably know what we're talking about, but we had. I've got 3 or 4 videos that we did on stuff that happened in December. Should make for some pretty good videos. Let's see what else.
If they follow my Instagram, they know exactly what's been happening since December.
Well, I know some of them. Some of them follow me on Facebook. They follow you on Instagram. So
all I can say is moo.
But for the ones of y'all that don't follow that, I don't want to spoil any surprises. I was hoping to have a special guest here today to introduce to all of y'all, but he wasn't able to get back from New Orleans in time. He was spending some time with his family for the New Year's and stuff, and wasn't able to get back in time. But I was hoping to have our new employee here and introduce him to y'all. But yes, we do have somebody hired. He started 2 weeks ago.
No, it was the week of Christmas.
He started before that because he hauled all the corn.
Anyway, that's right. So the week before Christmas on that Monday. Yeah.
Anyway, he's been working with us for about 2 weeks. His name is Andy Akins. He's a very young guy.
22.
22. He does have farm experience, but because of his age, he doesn't have a whole lot of practical farm experience, but he does have 2 things that we require. He's got intelligence and he's a go-getter, and all the other stuff can be taught, but it's probably going to be a pretty difficult year coming up for us because he's going to require a lot of training, but I really expect him to pick a lot of stuff up very quickly. Expect us to only have to show him hopefully once, and then he can pick it up and go do it. So, but definitely going to take some time this year. We're going to try and train him properly, but we've already seen evidence of his problem-solving ability. Unfortunately, he was the cause of the problem, but still, he was able to solve the problem without, calling me and having me solve it. So that was, but pretty excited about that. But anyway,
I remember what I told him the first day. I was like, "On your first day, you broke my trailer," and he's like, "I'm so sorry. I'm sorry." I'm like, "You broke my trailer." I've been giving him crap since then. So,
yeah, but anyway, he did all the corn hauling for us in December. We didn't film any of that because, well, I want him to get used to us and get used to the job without throwing a camera in his face. So we didn't record any of the corn hauling. Probably going to record some of the soybean hauling coming up in January. Here in probably 3, maybe 4 videos, we'll introduce him in a video. But I was hoping he'd be here tonight for all y'all to meet him, but unfortunately he's not.
Oh, and he's driving back through all of that junk too.
Yeah, all that.
Well, him and his family. I think it's his mom and stepdad and stuff. So. Yeah. He does have a farming background, so comes from a farm family.
Yeah. I'm a little damp. If you can't tell from my shirt, we've been working on pulling the lights off our Christmas display all afternoon today, and then we got caught by a rainstorm. So unseasonably warm, was about 71, 72, 73 degrees a day. I was actually broke a little sweat. I don't like breaking a sweat in January, but that's what happened. So anyway, guys, way we want this to work. We now got an hour, 20 minutes left on this live stream before our last harvest video premieres. So we like these kind of videos to be driven by the viewers. So whatever questions y'all got for me or Kelly, just go ahead and type them in the comments, and I'll try to get to most, if not all of them. All right, let's see who's up. Got some people saying hi.
Hola, buenos días.
Where we at? John McDowell says they're getting snow. Well, you must be a little bit north of us. Where exactly are you at, John? And Happy New Year's to all of y'all that said Happy New Year's. Hopefully everybody had a Merry Christmas. I don't know whether to be be scared or excited that a new year has started. I mean, y'all saw what we went through in 2022. You saw what we went through in 2021, and then y'all saw what we went through the end of 2020. Keep on saying next year is going to be easier. Next year is going to be better. It seems like these years are just getting harder and harder.
Only if you make it. Why are you so quiet?
I'm looking through the comments, trying to find some questions. Everybody's just saying hi and happy New Year's and hoping for a good and prosperous year. We are too. Here's a familiar name, Sample 22 Country.
Where the heck is he? Isn't he like around here or something?
Yeah, he's right up the road. He is. I won't say the guy's name on there.
That's who it is.
Yeah, it's his grandson.
Anyway,
Anyway, Sample, I've got a video made up. Actually, it'll be no, it won't be the next video coming out on Thursday. It'll be a video coming out on Sunday that features your granddad. Well, it doesn't feature your granddad, but it's got a video of your granddad in there. So be looking for it.
What was that? What?
When
was that?
He was driving a cotton picker.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. A couple weeks back. I don't know. Everything runs in.
Everybody, more questions about the fingers.
Fingers are just here.
I'm trying to keep this thing's like scrolling weird. Hold on just a second, guys. Let me get this straight.
Oh, I gotta go to therapy on Thursday. Oh, it was tomorrow.
Bow Hunter says he just went through hot wax therapy on a cut tendon on his right hand index finger. Really enjoyed that. Sarcasm. Hot wax therapy. What is that supposed to? That doesn't sound pleasant.
Matt, it's not pleasant. It's kind of a joke to say he put hot wax on it to close it up.
Oh, a redneck doctoring.
Yeah. Hello.
Love it. Stumphead asked, what happened to Kelly's hand? Well, go back and look at the video disaster after disaster. We covered it there. But anyway, she got her fingers caught in the latch on the back doors of the module builder and basically almost amputated her fingertips on her first two fingers of her right hand.
Yeah, that Matt decided to put in the video. So thanks for showing that. It's awesome.
Well, you wanted them to see the severity of it, didn't you?
No. Nobody wants to see that. That would make me throw up. That's why I couldn't even look at him.
All right, another question. MT Pockets asks, are the cover crops emerging well with the fall weather in Tennessee? I've got a video coming up on that. The cover crops we planted behind the corn, phenomenal. I actually reduced my planting rate some because we didn't have to plant through as much residue to save a little bit of money, and I really should have reduced the rate more. It's going to be tough to plant cotton in them next year. I mean, they are thick and they're green from all the nitrogen left over. We actually grew some decent sized radishes, not as big as what we was hoping because September and October was real dry and they just really didn't do much growing. Then by the time we got some rain, November was cooler than normal, so we didn't get as much size as what we wanted, but we did grow some decent sized radishes. Of course, with that monster cold front that came through right before Christmas, the radishes are all dead now. And then the cover crops that we aerial seeded behind our double crop beans, plus the cover crops that Carter planted behind double crop beans with a drill, they came up. We had a good stand, and then we got a rain, and the majority of it died. I'm thinking there was some kind of a herbicide carryover from the drought this year and wound up killing those cover crops. So really disappointed in that, but that's what happened.
God, look at this storm. It looks like a bean. He's drawing on it now.
Yeah,
Look
we
at
got
all that
Ryan
rain.
Hall on the TV. Got him muted watching the severe weather.
There's so much rain and snow.
Oliver's farming outdoor videos. What do you think about the wheat after last week's cold weather? Ours is pretty brown in Middle Tennessee. It really nipped ours too. I don't know if you follow Dylan Joyce, but he had a live stream yesterday, and the same question got asked of him. And Dylan actually had about 1.5 inches more snow cover than what we had, which insulated the wheat a little better. We had about 1/2 inch to an inch maybe, and it really browned it up. It got down. Our lowest temperature was like -1, but we had a wind chill of -30 there for a couple nights. But our wheat, because we planted so late, our wheat was small enough and young enough that it didn't kill it. It's going to look ugly until it puts out more green growth. Now, some guys that planted there, the first half of October, I haven't talked to them, but I'd be kind of worried about that wheat. It was a lot bigger in size, and as it grows in size, its winter cold tolerance goes down. So we're not going to have any problems with ours, I don't think. But there might be some producers that got older looking wheat that they might have some stand reduction.
It doesn't look good, that's for sure.
DR Dealer says they got a winter storm coming to south central Minnesota tonight. Yeah, the cold air is not supposed to make it down this far south again like it did for Christmas.
It's supposed to get down to like 23, I think, Thursday.
Dylan Joyce Farms is in the house. He says he's cautiously optimistic about a new year. I describe myself as about the same way. If we didn't have optimism, we couldn't do this job. I'm just scared of what breakdowns and the things that are going to go wrong this coming up year.
The equipment can hear you. Why do you even mention it? Don't even talk about it.
I'm not superstitious like you.
Oh, 100%. Right now, the combine just heard you, and now she's upset. Good job.
Well, the combine's sitting in the shop with a coat of ceramic wax on there. It's being treated pretty dang good right now.
I don't care. Her feelings are hurt. She's like, oh, okay, yeah, no, watch this. We don't talk about the equipment. We let them be.
But I mean, looking into the new year, the things that we faced this last year, not really a whole lot's changed. We're looking at super high inputs. We're looking at pretty high commodity prices right now too. We're still having problems with availability of stuff. Some things have improved, like the Roundup and the Liberty situation last year. We weren't even sure if we'd be able to get it. That situation has improved, but seed has gone up. Good Lord, seed's gone up a lot, and that's what I was working on before the live stream, trying to figure out what seed varieties we're going to plant. But yeah, seed costs are definitely going to be ugly this year.
Kidding me, man. That's per bag. Oh, wait, no, never mind. Look at the wrong thing.
No, there's no prices on there.
That's nice. You get no price.
No, you got to tell them what you want and how much you want, and then they'll tell you the price. That's the way it works.
That's a whole lot of beeping. You know what I mean? Baloney.
Just write the check. That's all you do.
No. Oh, okay. Write the check. Yeah. No. Nope.
Matt Phillips says he wish he could have been in this area and been able to help some way the last harvest. Well, Matt, if you can breathe, I probably would have stuck you in a seat somewhere and showed you how to operate something. We were in that boat. Dr. Douglas asks, is your new hired man from Tennessee? Yes, he is. He's actually right down the road. He's from a really big family farm that split off in like 3 different operations.
4, I think.
Or 3 or 4 different operations, but he really, we kind of got the gist that he really felt that maybe there wasn't a big place for him in that operation because there were so many family members involved. So he really wanted the opportunity to kind of, spread his wings, learn from a different farming operation than what he'd been associated with in the past get more experience. And we had a perfect spot to allow him to grow and really learn a lot of things that he might have not have had that opportunity, at least in the near future, on the other operations. So really looking for big things from him. John Smith says his grandmother was in Aikens. He may be a cousin.
Who knows?
I don't know. Aikens really ain't all that common of name. Who knows? Might be. Thomas Castillos asks, "Are you going to get a Baylor picker this year?" Just stay tuned. I think you'll have your question answered within the next week and a half worth of videos. Shore Sharp asks, "What's your preferred cover crops to plant? Have you planted any red clover? Seen any big benefits from red clover?" Shore Sharp, I covered this topic in. Let me find the video. Let me give you the name. Oh, I think it's called Winterizing Our Corn Ground. It was right after our corn harvest videos. I covered all the species I was planting and went into detail on why I selected each species. But just to give you a quick summary, I really like cereal rye. I love annual ryegrass. Crimson clover is another good one. Radish, rape, buckwheat. In front of corn, I really like to include winter pea and vetch also. I've not ever planted any red clover. I don't really know if it offers. I don't really know if it can sequester as much nitrogen as some of your other clovers, like crimson clover. So that's kind of why I go with crimson clover. Crimson clover is it establishes pretty quick, got a really great root structure that I like, and can produce a decent amount of nitrogen. Could you, Richard McClay asks, could you change concaves? Some more details about cutting corn with a draper head. Really don't understand your question too much, but when I shelled the corn maze with the draper head, now we didn't change any settings. Just run standard large wire concaves, key stock grates. Sped up my rotor just a little bit more to try and get a little bit more centripetal force to get the grain out of all the extra material we were pulling in the head. And of course, I had to slow down some because of running all that corn stalk through the combine takes quite a bit of power. So it's not the ideal situation, but for 7 acres, it sure beats having to clean up a 12-row corn head again. Kenneth Rags asked, "Do you ever run a subsoil ripper? If not, why not?" No, we don't. I mean, we got a single shank one that if say we have a farm logged and we got tracks going in and out hauling logs, we'll run a ripper there. But in general, I'm very much against tillage. We've worked really hard to build our soil structure up, and any form of tillage will start we'll start destroying that soil structure. We really need good soil structure to maximize our water infiltration and root penetration. And anytime you put iron in the soil, I mean, you're going to be hurting. You're going to be hurting those goals. So no, we don't do any kind of ripping. We like to use plants to break up any compaction with our in our subsoil. That's why we plant a cover crop on every acre. And some of the species we use, like your radish, your annual ryegrass, your cereal rye, those plants have really good roots about penetrating any kind of compacted layers. And then, once the roots are there, well, then you've got channels in the soil for your cash crop roots to follow down. Whereas if you bust it up with a subsoiler, you might temporarily loosen the ground, but then that ground can have a tendency to pack back even tighter than what it was. So, we try our best not to introduce compaction into our fields, and then Then we utilize cover crops to get rid of any compaction that may be in our fields, and we've had real good success with it. Now, I do believe ripping or any form of tillage, it can give you a temporary yield boost in year one, but then years 2, 3, and 4, once that ground settles out, you got to rebuild that soil structure again, or plow it again. And plus, plowing burns up a lot of organic matter, which we want the organic matter in the soil to absorb a lot of water and then replenish nutrients throughout the year as our cash crops grow. Back Porch Motorsports asks, what was up with the Baylor picker short I posted? That's going to be the video coming out on this Sunday. I had the opportunity after our harvest was done to go run a Baylor picker for one of my neighbors on some cotton that still needed to be picked. So really, I took the opportunity to spend a day and a half on that picker, running it, learning about it and everything. And I got to say, I was impressed. So anyway, we got about a 40-minute long video on that be coming out, I believe, this next Sunday. That's what that short come from. George Riggins asked, will Kelly operate the sprayer this year? If her fingers are healed, yep, she'll operate it some, especially burn down during planting season. That's the primary time that she operates the sprayer.
I'll probably be doing a lot in the summertime until he gets to have it too.
Yeah, but
sorry, I'm gonna promote myself from sweating my butt off in the water truck to the ice cold air conditioning in the sprayer. Maybe we need to haze little Andy there.
Yeah, but one of our goals is to bring Andy up to speed as quickly as possible. Zach was a primary operator of the sprayer, and Andy's never operated the R series type sprayer, so I've got a lot to teach him on that, and a whole lot better to teach them before you've actually got crops in the field with rows that you got to follow. So I know on our wheat, fertilizing our wheat and stuff. That's a whole lot easier to spray than when you're trying to follow corn rows or cotton rows. So we're going to try to get them up to speed as quickly as possible on getting comfortable with that sprayer.
No, it's not even comfortable with the sprayer. It's being like, we were discussing it actually, and he said it's being comfortable with the fields. He doesn't know the fields.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And I said, it's not a problem. I don't mind spraying because in this way, when, we are spraying the crops, I can teach him which farm is best, which way to spray it's best, and all that, because he has no idea the terrain and anything else. I mean, we've already discussed it. He's like, no, I'd love to ride along. And then hopefully by, 1 or 2 times of spraying, he'll get it.
You're not going to learn the terrain unless you're going over the field too.
That's what I meant. Like, he's going to ride with me and show him the best way to ride over each of the fields because, we don't have flat lands. Everything is loads of fun.
Dr. Douglas asks, how is Zach doing in his new job? As far as I know, he's doing well. Haven't had a chance to talk with him. Saw him a little bit during middle of cotton harvest when Zombie Trail was going on because he was working at the Zombie Trail. But since that shut down, he stayed busy and we stayed busy. I haven't had a chance to talk with him, but it seems everything's going well with him. And Twisted Shoe Welding says on the hot wax, the heat penetrates deeper into the muscle is his understanding.
Mm-hmm.
You try some hot wax tonight?
No, I'm good. Thanks.
You're no fun.
Nope. I'm zero fun.
What the heck does this thing do?
Mm-hmm.
MT Pocket says, Matt, I'd like to see you do a live stream collaboration with Dale Strickler from Green Cover Seed. I know he's very open, even with smaller channels. That was that the guy that we saw at the FBN conference? I can't remember his name.
No, the one who owns it.
No, that wasn't his name. No, we this past December we attended the FBN conference in Omaha, Nebraska, and we went to a presentation by the owner of Green Cover Seed. Yeah, that wasn't his name wasn't Dale though. Anyway, that was one of the best presentations I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it's very rare for me to go to a presentation about cover crops now where I feel like I've learned something because we've been doing it so long. Most of the time it's me and Kelly talking to people, telling them how to do it. But that owner was Green Cover Seed. I mean, he blew me away. Great. Mm-hmm. So I'd be open to a collaboration. I'd be open to doing a collaboration with him too, especially if a chance of me learning some more. I think a lot of those folks from Green Cover Seed, they know their stuff.
No, it wasn't the guy we were talking to, was it? Oh, he was young.
Gustav asked, do you know the Johnson Sioux compost extract that more and more people are talking about? I've never heard of it.
What?
Robert Joyce. What's up, Bob? Just curious about chicken litter. What are you paying per ton and what rates are you running? No, well, Robert, I don't know if I'll be paying anything for chicken litter this year because I don't know if I'll be able to get it. It seems like a lot of the bigger farmers have gotten contracts with chicken barns and might be cutting me out. But anyway, as far as rate, I've always run 1.5 tons rate. It's replenished all the nutrients I need. Cuts down on the cost a little bit. As far as cost, I want to say having it hauled or buying the litter, having it hauled and having it spread for this our wheat for what we spread in front of our wheat crop this past fall was $62 a ton, I think. Used to, it was in that $50, $52 a ton range, but I had to go up to 62 in order to be able to buy it this year. Buy it for wheat. And so I don't know if I'll be able to get it this spring or not. I'm a little upset about that. John McDowell asked, "You guys do chili peppers at all that far up?" Well, I don't know if anybody growing them. I sure do like eating them though. I love some chili peppers.
Southwest Texas.
Yeah, we've tried to grow a few plants in the garden, haven't had much luck with them.
We are not vegetable farmers. Leave that to the veggie farmers.
Dr. Dooley says, "I've been thinking about your son that has had problems at school. Our granddaughter is having the same problems."
We're going to resolve that really quick.
I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever resolve it until he puts that cap and gown on. I tell you, schools. It don't matter if it's public school or private school. Schools are a tough place for kids. And the things that we had to deal with bullying when we were kids. What we did have to deal with was social media and the online bullying. I mean, bullying is one thing when you're doing it face to face. I mean, you gotta have some balls about you to do it face to face because there's a chance you might get your butt whooped. Yeah, but when you're sitting behind the keyboard, you can say whatever you want to, and really might not have many repercussions. And our children, and not just our children, everybody's children is having to deal with this. And social media can be great. I mean, look at what we're doing. With our channel. Social media can be great. Facebook can be great. I built up a huge network of contacts on social media that I can ask questions to and I can learn. But on the other hand, social media, Satan is on social media and using it very extensively. And guys, we got to monitor our kids. We got to support our kids. We got to teach our kids. And it's just going to get worse. It's not going to get better.
Oh, we do have don't forget, Friday at 9 a.m. We're gonna go sign our life away.
Yeah, I mean we're gonna start touring some private schools to get Carter back in school because he's not going back to the public school that he was in. But still, I mean, you got kids. I mean, they might be better managed at private schools, but a lot of those same issues are still going to be there. So, I don't know.
Yeah, true, but they can pretty much nip it in the bud because you're paying for it. So, and they could just kick your kid out. That's the one thing. Like, oh, see you later. We'll just get somebody else in here. So,
Dylan Joyce, said he had some issue with atrazine carryover in wheat in 2012. Sure, the same things happen with your covers. Well, Dylan, actually, where I had the issue with covers was behind my double crop beans. Not corn. There was no issues with corn. That stuff's growing, but I don't know if it. We sprayed prefix. We sprayed prefix post emerge, and I don't know if it was the dual in there or the reflex that caused the issue, or maybe it was from what we sprayed at planting. We put down a hot rate of Valor and a hot rate of Metribuzin. I really don't see that stuff sticking around that long. So I don't know, but that's what I'm chalking it up to, was some kind of herbicide, but I don't know which one.
You're kidding.
Sample 22 Country asks, did we have blackouts as well when it was so cold?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had
rolling
two
blackouts.
of them. We had two of them. In fact, because of them just trying to ease the load on the grid, we brought our wood stove out of retirement and burned probably a half a cord of wood over the course of 3 days. We didn't have our Christmas display lit up those 2 nights because it was pulling 35 amps of electricity. So just try and ease up on the electric grid. Brantley Bailey's in. Everything's going pretty well, Brantley. And Jordan Regan, that's the same question about Kelly operating the sprayer, which we answered. Kelly's going to operate it probably a little bit more than last year, but we also got to bring Andy up to speed on the sprayer too. But sure, they'll probably be doing some tag teaming on that.
It's his turn to suffer out in the heat.
Dylan Joyce with the jokes. Don't worry about the combine. It's got those John Deere batteries on it now.
Oh my God! Seriously, man.
Yeah, those John Deere batteries.
Let it go.
Those John Deere batteries we got to keep jumping off.
Yeah. By the way, the John Deere batteries that are hooked up to the battery charger that we have to keep hooking up.
The John Deere batteries that were so hot that they broke my negative battery terminal.
You want to talk about it? Now we got to spend more money.
No, those John Deere batteries are.
Oh God, what is the joke
when I
with
turn
that?
the battery disconnect off, and because the way the radio's wired up, the radio doesn't power off when you turn the key off, and if you forget to turn the radio off or do the battery disconnect, it'll drain the batteries overnight. That's been our only problem with it.
Every piece of equipment has something.
But no, I mean, after learning that those John Deere batteries were not overpriced like every other John Deere thing on the earth was, I'm going to start, when I got to replace batteries now, I'm going to start pricing Tennessee Tractor and seeing what the comparison on them is.
I don't know what that means.
Jimmy asks, have you thought about trying advancing equal agriculture products and cut back on your synthetic fertilizers? I've used some of their products and they work. I don't know what products you're talking about, but yes, with our increasing our soil health, utilizing cover crops and other cultural methods, using manures, yes, we've cut back significantly over what the typical no-till farmer in West Tennessee uses. For cotton example, we're using less than half of the synthetic nitrogen to produce comparable yields as what other farmers are. Our chemical bill is less also. We don't have to apply as many chemicals. And if it weren't for one weed, Palmer amaranth, otherwise known as pigweed, we could cut that back way more. But we have to over apply just to control that one weed, keep it from coming up, because if we didn't, I'd be way overextended all summer long trying to keep the escapes manually hoed out, chopped, or pulled up. So that one weed drives way more of our agronomic decisions than what I would like. But yes, we have cut back quite a bit, and every year, especially with input prices, we're looking to cut back more. So we're going to do some more extensive testing on our corn this year. We've already cut our nitrogen back 20 units per acre on our corn than what we used to, and going to try and start cutting back even more. And then in the past, we've tested some biologicals on crops to try and cut back our fertilizer, and then I'm going to really try to ramp that up this year. I got some more products to look at, especially some mycorrhizal products because I think that's one of our limited factors in the soil is that we just don't have the mycorrhiza that we need to really expand the root network. So we're going to take a more look at that. But I'd love to cut back a lot more, but the problem that we face, if we owned all of our ground, we could cut back even more and be more profitable. The problem is that 82% of our ground is rented, cash rent and share rented. And even some of the share rented ground, the shares in the inputs, they don't share in all of the inputs. So if I were to cut back drastically on inputs, if I own the ground, I might actually be more profitable, but we would definitely have lower yield. Well, on all that rented ground, we couldn't, the landlord gets paid off of yield, and we would not be able to lower inputs enough to offset the loss of income off of yield. So we got kind of a fine line we've got to walk in order to keep our ground and not have the landlords pull it from us. We still got to maintain our high yields. But what we're trying to figure out is how to keep those high yields and find out exactly where we can cut our inputs back while still maintaining. So it's a process that we've been working on about 6 years. We've done a pretty good job so far, and we're going to keep on doing it. However, if we owned all of our ground, it'd be a different story, and we could really drastically cut our inputs a lot more and at least maintain the profitability and possibly even increase the profitability. But with the rental situation, that kind of limits us in that regard. Matt Phillips asks, what is cottonseed going to run? Oh, last year it was about $600 a bag. Probably going to be over $600 a bag this year.
Yay.
Dylan Joyce Farms asks, same with Pioneer this year. There's one Pioneer variety. Yes, we're going to still plant Pioneer 1464. It's been a fantastic variety for us, and it actually held up pretty decent last year. The one thing we learned is that the Pioneer varieties just they got a lot of top end yield potential, but they don't really have the guts when you experience a terrible drought like we did last year. I mean, we saw that in our test plots. But that 1464 is still going to have a big place on our farm. And then looking at some others, because my Pioneer rep is no longer with Pioneer. He's now working at Helena, and we actually grew up together, so he knows my land as well as anybody does. And he was instrumental in helping me place varieties, because it doesn't matter what number you plant, what variety you plant. If you plant in the wrong spot, it's going to fall flat on its face. So that's why we planted strictly Pioneer, because they had the genetics, they had a really good yield, and I felt able to get that extra yield boost by being able to put it in the exact right spot. Whereas the reps from the other companies don't know my ground the way my Pioneer rep did. Now that Pioneer, now that my friend is now with another company, he's looking at all these different varieties and helping me able to pick out varieties a little bit better. But some ones we're looking at. Looking at some DeKalb varieties, 6595. I want to put that on some of my thinner hill ground, which we're going to have quite a bit of this year. That farm that y'all cut beans on, Dylan, I'm definitely going to put it over there.
Oh, heck yeah.
I'm going to plant some 6595, Pioneer 1464. I've been wanting to try some 6744 for a while now, because it's been in the A group of all the yield trials for like 5 or 6 years running. I'm going to plant some of it this year. Problem is, we're not going to have a bunch of real good bottom ground to put in corn this year, but that's where I would place it. And then probably going to plant a little bit of 6999. That's 119-day corn, a little bit longer than what I like to plant, but probably going to put it on some of our really highly productive hill ground. And then for our refuge corn, probably some DeKalb 6593. Problem is that DeKalb, I thought Pioneer is expensive for DeKalb.
Are you serious?
I mean, it's going to be close to $300 a bag.
Dude, does it come with dinner and a back rub when you buy a bag of seed now?
For $300,
or just bend over with no lube?
For $300 a bag, it better come with some kind of guarantee.
We guarantee we're going to give you no lube.
Jeffrey Anderson
it's
asks, "What does
ridiculous.
it cost you to run your farm every year?"
Millions.
Uh,
Millions. I have no idea.
1.2 million or so,
1.2.
and then hope we bring
1.3.
in
1.1,
1.999. Hope we bring in 1.3, 1.4 million, and that's you know and that's a 1,600 acre farm. That's just rough guess. I mean, it changes every year, but that's just kind of a general ballpark.
We're gonna pay out 90 or 100% and pay out. No, is it you get? I forget the way they put it, but if you make 1.3, you bring in or you pay out 1.2. It's like you're working for less than 10%.
Yeah, I mean our margins are tight, but I mean actually even with the drought this year, you know, we met with our tax accountant few weeks ago, and even with the drought this year, where we actually even after crop insurance, we still lost money on corn, and corn was about a third of our acres, but with wheat, full season soybeans, double crop soybeans, and cotton. Before we made a certain purchase that we will not reveal right now, it will be revealed in a coming video. We were looking at a tax liability of around $80,000 this year. So after that purchase brought it down to was around $34,000. So
I'm so excited to pay the IRS the size of a car.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe it. I mean, had an absolute failure. Worst failure we've ever had on corn, and still made a profit. Of course, a lot of it's due to, I mean, cotton really pulled it did more than pull its weight. You know, we had some really high prices on cotton. You know, our average soybean price is going to be somewhere in ballpark around $15. Had some for the year, had some really good soybean numbers, and then you know, corn, even though we had a failure and we lost money, you know, if we hadn't averaged with like around $6.50 a bushel on corn, that would have been a lot worse. So we made money this year. I wouldn't have thought it, but we did.
You need to start catching
John McDowell asked, "Do you guys have anything like the Big Bud in your area?"
No.
No. I don't even know if you could turn the Big Bud around in some of our fields. I'd like to see one in person, but no, we don't have anything like that. I mean, really the only 4-wheel drive tractors you see are pulling scrapers around here. You very rarely see one actually out in the field pulling an implement. They're mostly relegated to dirt pan work. Gray Ghost, I'm not a farmer, but I really like your content, and I appreciate it. That's the kind of comments we like to hear.
You need to pick it up, man. Somebody asked, I'd like to see how your grain leg works. DR Duelist.
EMT Pockets, not really sure what you're talking about on land patents. Maybe you can explain a little bit more.
Oof.
DR Duelist says, "Someday I'd like to see how your grain leg works." I mean, I've actually got a little bit of content recorded. It's going to be a video I got planned. Don't know when I'm going to put it out, but on how our grain system works, and then how our bin manager system works. I'm going to put out those videos. Hopefully do them at some point this year. But basically, our elevator system is extremely simple. We have what's called a loop system. It doesn't have the traditional bucket elevator that most everybody else has, where you have a bucket elevator that goes up and then drop pipes over to each individual bin. We've got a continuous loop system that's it's got chain and paddles on it, and anyway, it goes a continuous loop up under the bin and then over the top of the bins. And you know, if you're pulling out, you know, it comes out under the bin, then up the side, and then the drop pipe, and then if we're loading in the bin, you know, we dump in the pit, it goes in the loop up the side, and then drops it in the top. So it's very, very simple, but I hope to put out a video hopefully this year on that.
As a loop-de-loop.
Bonita, I'm not even going to try that last name. I'm sorry. I know I butchered it. Schnatzenbach.
Wow.
Bonita Schnatzenbach. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Wow, Schnatzenbach. Just have the northerner pronounce it.
All right. What?
It's German.
All right. Say it again.
Bonita Schnatzenbach.
All right, Bonita. Said her beans only did 28 bushels and corn only about 50 bushels. I didn't really know the drought really extended that far up north. Wow, that's tough.
Yeah, Pennsylvania, Ohio, everybody.
170 acres of corn not even harvested. What was my final numbers? Corn, actually, when we got done hauling our corn, our yield went up by 2 bushels an acre. I think Nate didn't keep track of some numbers as well as he should have, but we wound up averaging 78 bushels per acre was our final corn number. Don't know our final bean number because we haven't actually hauled them off yet, but somewhere right around 50 bushels an acre. That's including our full season and our double crops, which our full season really did about the same as our double crop. Now, what y'all see in this final video, we ended up on our best beans. I mean, we had, out in the middle of the fields, we were seeing 60 to 75 bushels per acre on soybean yields. If the beans around the edges of all of our fields had not died, we would probably had it probably would have raised our soybean average by probably 3, 4, 5 bushels an acre. But, we had 30 feet around all the edges of the fields where the trees sucked all the moisture out of the ground, and the beans literally died before we got a rain.
I truly think
cotton, we were right there around 1,100 pounds, which we had some fantastic cotton, but that last 80 acres we had just didn't mature out. The freeze that we had coming in middle of October got it, and it just never opened up, and we weren't able to harvest it. The cotton was there. We just couldn't get it open. Well, we couldn't get it in the picker. Otherwise, I mean, we probably would have been up there averaging probably close to 1,300 pounds on cotton.
I'm not saying nothing, but I think our double crop beans did better because of the person who planted them.
You want to say that in the microphone?
I did say it in the microphone.
Oh, okay.
It's a woman's touch. That's why. Thank you.
John Smith asks, isn't ryegrass hard to kill with Roundup? We don't have a problem with it, and this is what we do on ryegrass. Doesn't matter what height it is. It's going to require 2 passes because ryegrass has such a huge root system that, I mean, that's what you got to kill, the root system. Well, there's a lot of energy in that root system. So what we do is we make, on our burn down, whenever right in front of the planter, Kelly will go in there and spray paraquat on it. And paraquat won't kill it, but it'll burn it all the way back. Then it's got to pull some of the energy out of the roots to start making the plant back grow. That weakens the roots because there's not much energy in there. Then about 2 to 2.5 weeks later, when that ryegrass is putting back out for pretty decent, we go in with a full rate of Roundup and we completely wipe it out. We don't have any problems whatsoever. We've been doing it that way 6, 7 years now. Never had a problem. But yeah, if you just try to go in there with 1 pass of Roundup, you're probably going to have issues. So try a 2-pass program with paraquat being the first product. DR Doulis, hey Kelly, when you gonna get back to do a highlight video on your wonderful reactions to different situations? That's a pretty good idea. I'll have to start. That might be a year away because once we make the videos, all the clips and stuff, because of storage, I mean, I gotta get rid of the clips. But I'll keep that video.
What do you mean, like
I'll keep
reactions?
You got a wide variety of reactions to different situations.
Record most of them.
That's probably a good thing. But yeah, I like that idea, so I'll keep that in mind. And over the next year, if I come up with some clips that Kelly does like that, I'll save them and see if I can put them into a full video.
As long as nobody's gonna sit here and make fun of me, it's great. It's either you're gonna laugh or you're gonna cry or swear, so you might as well laugh.
Dylan Joy said it doesn't take long to pick up on the R Series sprayer if you run some type of John Deere sprayer in the past. I agree. But if you've never run a sprayer in the past, it's a pretty steep learning curve.
It's not about the sprayer; it's about the fields.
DR asks, is tobacco grown in your area? Not in our area. It's there's some grown in Southern Kentucky, an hour away from us. There's some grown in Middle Tennessee, an hour away from us, but there's not any grown right here in this area. DR says hot wax sounds fun, Kelly. I agree. Hot wax does sound fun.
That does not sound fun. No.
I like some candles and
Nope.
bring them in the bedroom.
It's a negatory. I'll be 2 hours asleep before you even come in the bedroom.
Sepple Country said you said Thursday for the video, right? No, the one your granddad's going to be in, that'll probably be Sunday. The one Thursday was that's going to be another harvest video. I found some footage that of Kelly driving the picker that I thought she had not recorded.
And Carter.
Anyway, I put it together in a video of her driving the picker over a couple of days.
Did you not give the stuff to Carter either? Or was it on the same one?
I didn't say anything to Carter.
I lost somewhere then.
I didn't
That was the same day.
I didn't see him.
Mm-hmm.
Jared asked, "What's the dry urea prices down there per ton?" I don't
Depends
know.
on the day.
Honestly, I haven't priced any. I do know liquid nitrogen UAN. It's come down from last year. I want to say it's probably somewhere in the $500 range. Dylan, maybe you can help me out on that. Maybe you've priced some fertilizer, but I do know that fertilizer prices are slowly coming down. So I haven't pre-bought any.
It'll slowly go back up too, right about the time everybody needs to spread it.
Greg asked, "How in the heck do you move that 20-foot drill in your area?" Very carefully.
Literally with a wing and a prayer, and oh man, it's not easy, especially with going down this one road. Oh man, it's awful. You about draw up because you're literally like this far away from the guardrail, and the other side you're like playing it, and then you got a car coming looking at you, and you're like, "Where you gonna go?" It's fun.
All I can say is the tractor that we run that drill on's got a 31-mile-an-hour speed, which helps really getting down the road in between cars coming. And then because it's got that 31-mile-an-hour speed, it's also got brakes on the front tires too. So we're pretty hard on the accelerator and the brakes, but it makes you draw up going around corners. Hopefully hopefully here within the next few years we'll have a different drill. I'm looking more towards a 30 or 40 foot fold up air drill. Of course, it probably won't be any easier going down the road than that 20-foot one. But
No, it won't. That percentage.
Joe Brown says, "Hi, Matt. Did you know that Dwayne got your old sprayer?" I don't think
No freaking way. There's no way.
I don't think he got my old sprayer. Now, we did have a John Deere 4710 that we run from 2009 to, was it 2015 or 16?
No, way before then.
No, we had that 4830 from like 2015 to 2020.
No, we had longer than that. We got it like in 2012.
No, I know we didn't know. We
Or
didn't get
13.
it. No, we didn't get it. Anyway, I want to say we run the 4710 from 2009 to I want to say 2015. Then we went to a 4830.
Right,
but no, my 4710, it had tinted windows on it, which Dion's, it didn't look like his had tinted windows on it. Plus, we had crop fenders on it, which you can take those off. But ours also had an auto steer button right there on the armrest, right beside the hydro handle. And I noticed his did not have that. So we had one just like it, but he didn't get my actual old sprayer. Well, I don't even know if my old sprayer would still be running because it had like 4,500 hours when we traded it or when we sold it in 2015.
Yeah, but somebody bought it, didn't they? Like they were from Pryor or south of here.
No, I think they were from Hardeman County, which is south of us.
It was south of us.
But that don't mean it couldn't wind its way back up here.
Yeah, unless they didn't use it for 5 to 10 years.
Kevin Scallions watching from Tipton County. You batting down the hatches for these storms that are coming through?
Yeah, they're about to come again.
Joe Parker asked, had any winter kill in the Arctic blast? No, it made our wheat look ugly, but ours is
young enough and small enough. Don't think we'll have any problems with the wheat. Yes, I did answer that earlier in the video. Keith Burns, yeah, okay, MT Price, yeah. Keith Burns is the owner of Green Cover Seed.
Yeah.
That's who we listen to. I love listening to him, but I don't think I've talked with Dale Strickler, but might have to contact him and see if he wants to do anything like that. Jerry 2.0's got a joke. Why don't you get manure shipped from Washington, D.C.? They have a lot of it there.
Oh my gosh, stockpile, don't they?
I might. I don't want to contaminate West Tennessee with what's going on up there in D.C. Dylan says, you would think with all these new chicken barns, a man could get his hands on some chicken litter.
Right?
I mean, that's what the plan was, but then you saw what fertilizer prices did, and when you got two of the biggest farms in this area that haven't used chicken litter in the past decide all of a sudden that it's now valuable enough that they do want to use chicken litter. I mean, you're talking about between these two farmers, probably 25,000 acres. Takes a lot of chicken barns to produce that kind of litter and leaves little guys like me out in the dry. Sample says you can keep the chicken crap away from us, but it actually doesn't bother me anymore. And I mean, it doesn't smell good, but I mean, you get used to it, and I've gotten used to it. It's gotten to where it smells like money to me.
Yeah, money we're spending.
Jared asked, how much is an acre of farmland in your area selling for?
Depends.
It all depends. It depends on the size of the lot, and it depends on if a perk test will actually be approved on it. If someone can build a house on it, I mean, we've seen anywhere from 10 to
50,000.
We've seen anywhere from $10,000 to $25,000 an acre.
In Jackson, they're selling for $50,000 an acre right now to build subdivisions on.
Yeah, I mean, it's just outrageous. It's all driven by whether a house can be put on it or not.
Houses.
Now, if a house can't be put on it, probably $4,000 to $6,000 an acre is what you're looking at. But we're so close to Jackson, most everything can have a house be put on it. But there was, if you remember back from wheat harvest, I was talking about how 2 acres of one farm had been sold off for like $45,000. And anyway, that sale wound up not going through because they couldn't get a perk test on it. The ground would not perk. So if it doesn't perk, you can't get a license or you can't get a permit to put a septic tank on it. And of course, there's no sewer out here. So we're back farming that 2 acres again.
You got a lot of questions. You need to hightail it, dude.
Wesley Rose asks, what do you think is the best thing about growing up on a farm that has helped you most in life?
Realize you're insane.
I mean, work ethic is probably the thing. I mean, you're out here in the country, you've got a farm. You, for the most part, you got to learn how to figure out how to do it yourself. Realize there's nobody going to do it for you. And I don't know how much of that is personal and how much of that is ingrained in me just because I grew up on the farm. But I'd say the work ethic, just doing whatever it takes to get the job done. I mean, y'all seen it on our videos. That's probably been the best lesson, that the best thing come from it, but it can also be a curse too, because when the job is done, rather than taking a step back and catching your breath, you're looking forward to the next thing. All right, I got this done. What have I got to do next? Let's get started on it. Let's get it done. So it can be hard on you too.
Not all butterflies and rainbows. Why are you locking in?
Dylan still being funny again.
I'm over the John Deere jokes.
Mike Hass asked something about humics. I'm guessing that's going something with other products applying. Humic acid is humics is if you grow plants, I mean, humus is going into your soil. There's a lot of products out there. Helen's got a product called HydroHume, but for the amount you're putting out, you're not making a difference in your soil. I'd much rather that type of product come naturally from plants that I have growing. If I don't do tillage, the humic acid, the humus, the organic matter, all that stuff tied together, it's going to be there in the soil and it's going to be building up. I don't want to apply that stuff. I don't want to buy that stuff from some company when I can go out there and plant a seed and do the same thing. Might not be quite as quick, but for long-term effectiveness, I believe it's going to be far more effective. Z-Trax asks, nice office. What type of wood is finishing is that? The floor
is poplar.
Yeah, the walls is poplar and the floors is beech.
Beach. Yes, I picked those out.
Yeah, picked it out and then did all the staining ourselves. We do have some high traffic area here. I need to come in here and sand this part and put down some more put down some more stain and some more polyurethane though, because it's not holding up as well as what I hoped it. When we do this, with 2019, it's when we did the office. I think so, 2019. So yeah, before that, if you watch the show,
Yes.
if you watch,
It was after the show.
if you watch the show, The American Farm, they had several clips of this
The original.
office, the way it used to look, and it was
awful.
rough. It was really rough.
It was
So
rough.
we finally bit the bullet, cleared everything out here, and had a crew come in and put all the wood up, and then we stained it and finished it.
Gotta love the Amish.
Z-Trax, how's Kelly's hand healing? We answered that at the beginning. So it's healing slowly but surely. Not going to have any surgery, but still got probably another good month. And we don't know if it probably ever won't be 100%, but hopefully in another month it'll probably be about as good as it's going to be.
Still can't straighten it.
Jared said Jared's from Saskatchewan.
Say that again.
No, I'm not saying it again.
Saskatchewan.
Said they had 1 inch of rain all year, and it was
Yeah.
so hot their crops averaged 15 to 20 bushels an acre. How do you make 15 to 20 bushels an acre on 1 inch of rain? That's what I want to know. If you make 15 to 20 bushels an acre on 1 inch of rain, with our 3 or 4 inches of rain that we had during the summer, I should have been well over 100 bushels.
It's that Canadian soil.
Jim Bennett says, I always thought John Deere was expensive, but we bought a Case IH combine this year, and I think Case IH parts are more than John
No,
Deere.
They're the same. They're the same.
It don't matter what
Don't
company
matter.
you go to. It's just it's just awful. I mean, I had to. I had a couple of videos this summer, when we were working on the cotton picker, complaining about how obscene their parts prices was. I had some repairs on the combine, like the parking brake of all things. A brake pad, one brake pad. They didn't sell them in pairs. They sold the brake pads individually. I mean, who's going to replace a brake? Who's going to replace brake pads individually? They came in their own individual box, and they were like, what, $150 to $200 per brake pad?
And they were this big.
I don't even think BMW brake pads are that expensive. It's just,
No. I think so.
I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know where we're going. Like everybody sees what commodity prices are, and I mean, and the only way to fix it is for us to quit buying this stuff. When we quit buying this stuff, we can't make a living. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the solution.
See the grocery prices right now. It's cheaper to be an alcoholic.
DR asked, is it possible to make fields more squared off, or are the wood lines have creeks in them? Yeah, I mean, realistically, in West Tennessee, if there's a tree growing there, there's a reason there's a tree growing there. Most likely there's a creek there or a ditch or something else. It's just the way of it's just the topography of the area. For the most part, a lot of the fence lines back from there's cattle and the fence lines got grown up in trees. Most of those have been removed to, at least on our farms, in order to make fields bigger and more efficient in field operations. But man, it seemed like you can't step one way or the other, and you're off in a creek or something. Dylan Joy is making a comment about Pivot Bio. Yeah, I actually had a salesman stop in here the other day, and Pivot Bio is something I'd love to try out. But for what they want for Pivot Bio, no. Could you potentially replace 40 units of nitrogen by using bacteria? Yeah, because there's bacteria out there, free living bacteria that can take atmospheric nitrogen and convert it into a plant available form of nitrogen. But uh, what was what was it going to cost? Like Pivot Bio was going to cost the equivalent of 60 cents per unit of nitrogen that it replaced. So I think that's what the salesman told me. Uh, so if it replaces 40 units, what's 40 times 0.6? $24 an acre, when right now nitrogen is going for probably what, 70 to 80 cents per pound. For that price, even though nitrogen is going to be a little bit more expensive, if you apply the nitrogen, the nitrogen's there. If you're relying on bacteria to produce nitrogen, the bacteria may or may not produce nitrogen. So if Pivot Bio was a lot cheaper, I'd definitely be all about it, and I definitely look at it a lot more. But at that price, no, I'm gonna spend a little bit more money and apply the product and know for a fact that it's there. Now, if they want to approach me about putting in some strip trials with Pivot Bio, I'd love to. I'd love to find out for myself if the product works. Matt Phillips says, "Holy crap, that's double the price of corn seed." I'm assuming he's talking about cotton seed. Well, thing is, a bag of corn seed has 80,000 kernels in it. So you can plant 80, you get 80,000 corn plants. Well, a bag of cotton seed has 230,000 seeds in it, and we plant an average population of 37,000 seeds per acre, so we can get roughly 6.2 acres out of a bag of cotton seed. So the cost per acre is actually pretty close to corn, and with the increase of price of corn seed, actually corn is probably a little bit more expensive for the seed to plant. Joe Parker says trials show Pivot Bio works. I don't doubt that it works, but for that price, I'd rather go with the guaranteed. Kevin Scallions asked, "Do you till your land?" No, we don't. I mean, we only do in very limited circumstances if we need to smooth some fields up. We did one video of that last year of some areas in the field we had to smooth up, and we're going to have a little bit of land that we got to smooth up this coming up year. But no, in the general rule, I'm against any form of tillage.
No, you got 15 minutes left.
All right, getting down close to the end here.
There's way too many questions. You can't answer them all.
Jeffrey Anderson, what is your favorite piece of farm equipment to use? Man, my combine. I love my combine. Hands down. I love my combine. It's a joy to operate.
Really?
Murray Rollins, how's your litter supply going, Matt? I touched on this earlier. I don't know if I'll be able to get litter or not this year. I'm still going to try, but I don't know if I'll be able to. Some big farmers around here buying up pretty much all that's being produced. Yeah, Dylan, if it hadn't been for the high commodity prices, the balance sheet would have been a whole lot different. And right now, we don't have the volatility in commodity prices that we saw last year, but we still got some pretty good high prices there. And although after the drought of last year and having to buy out some corn contracts, I'm kind of hesitant on how much to go ahead and price, but before they have a chance to go down and need to get some priced, I don't know how much. Corbin asked, what's the price of chicken litter per ton in your area? Normally we pay, between $48, $52 a ton, but this last year, what we planted behind our, in front of our wheat crop was, I think, $62 per ton, and that's what it took to get it. DRS, Kelly, would you ever want to go back to the big city? You do make a farmer's wife anyone would want. So what about it, Kelly? Going back to Chicago anytime soon?
I really want to go back to Chirac? Heck no. No.
You might consider visiting if Beetlejuice wasn't up there anymore.
No, I mean, do I go back to the city to visit friends? Absolutely, because my childhood friends are up there. But would I go back to live there? No. Too expensive.
She wouldn't be able to get any good sunset photos in the big city either way. Too many skyscrapers blocking the view.
Back for their pizza and food. That's about it.
Damn, what is that? We've had a dump of a lot of questions here.
I told you. That's why I kept saying, move it along, partner. No, you're not trying. You just chit-yakking. You talk about me yik-yakking? Oh my gosh. A lot of people keep asking the same questions twice.
DRS, does certain soil types make a difference on doing cover crops? I haven't noticed any, as long as they're well drained. Problem is cover crops are grown during the winter, and winters are typically wet for us. So some species don't do as well when, the soil kind of stays saturated. So that's really about the only difference I've seen. Eric West from Hot Springs asked, how and why would you say to burn off a field? I never would say burn a field off. I never would. You got a lot of nutrients, a lot of organic matter in that residue, and if you burn it off, a lot of all of your nitrogen, all of your sulfur is going up in smoke. You've lost all the nitrogen in that. Your P and your K, other minerals are